until this point in the course, it could be said that you were just getting your feet wet with After Effects. You learned how to add and animate text and shapes, and these things helped you to become familiar with the basic principles of animation and effects in the program. However, this lesson is the one where the fun truly begins. It's where we start to delve headfirst into animation and effects. We'll discuss how to create a motion path using keyframes, trim layers using in and out points, adjust an anchor point, animate elements in your composition, and add effects. Animating objects in After Effects is not difficult once you understand the simple steps. For example, you can take any object in a composition, then make the object move across the screen by simply creating keyframes. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a bee buzzing around some flowers. To learn how to animate this, make sure you have Lesson 5 Assets 1 and 2 open in After Effects, and then go to the Timeline panel. Click the triangle beside the layer that contains the object you want to animate. Then click the triangle beside Transform. Make sure your playhead is at the beginning of the time ruler. Next, click the stopwatch beside Position. This will add a keyframe. Now move the playhead to the location in your timeline where you'll want to add the second keyframe. The location of this keyframe will be where the animation ends. Once you move the playhead, adjust the values for position or move the bee with your mouse. Move the playhead back to the beginning and then press the spacebar to view your animation. You can also create rotation, scale, and opacity animation by following these exact same steps. By using keyframes and increasing the scale value, you can make it seem like the camera is zooming in. In addition, you can create parent-child layers as we did with text to animate several layers at once using the same animation. This saves time as you work on your composition. There may be some layers that you only want to appear in certain parts of your composition. For example, perhaps we only want the B layer in our composition to appear at the beginning as part of the introduction to our video. We can specify where and when our B or any layer appears by specifying in and out points. An in point is the first frame where a layer appears. An out point is the last frame where the layer appears. To set an out point or trim a layer so it doesn't appear after a specified frame, move the playhead to the location where you want the layer to stop appearing. This is the location where you'll no longer see the layer when the video is played. Press Alt plus right bracket on a PC, or drag the layer duration bar to change the out point. Just click on an edge of the colored bar to the right of the layer name in the timeline panel and drag it. To set an in point, or the first frame where a layer appears, follow the same steps listed above for an out point, except press Alt plus left bracket on a PC or drag the layer duration bar. The anchor point for a layer is in the center of the layer by default. It determines the point from which the layer scales or rotates. To change an anchor point without moving the layer, click Y to use the Pan Behind tool. You can also click on this tool in the Tools panel. Drag the anchor point to where you want to place it. You can apply animation by using keyframes and adjusting the layer's properties, or you can use the animation presets that After Effects provides. Since we already showed you how to animate using keyframes, let's learn how to use presets to create animation. To start, select the layer you wish to animate. Once again, for our example, we're going to use our bee. Go to Animation, Apply Animation Presets. This opens a dialog box. Go to the Presets folder and select a type of animation. We're going to select Behaviors. Now select a behavior. We're going to select Rotate over Time. Click the Open button when you're finished. Press the spacebar to see the animation. When you're finished watching the preview, click the spacebar again to stop it. Then return the playhead to the beginning. Next, go to the Effects Control panel. You can adjust the values for the different animation properties, and you can also create keyframes. Let's say we want our bee to get bigger at a certain point in our composition. We would move our playhead to the location where we want it to start to grow. Then click the stopwatch beside Scale Height and Scale Width in the Effects Control panel. Next, we move the playhead to the next location, then adjust the value for scale height and width. Our bee would rotate over time because that's the animation preset we applied. However, there would also be an animation that shows it growing in length and width. As you can see, you can apply animation presets, then further customize the animation by adding keyframes. Adding keyframes in After Effects is always as easy as clicking the stopwatch and moving the playhead. In addition to animation, you can also add effects using the Effect menu in the menu bar. Let's say you want to add noise to a layer in your composition. First, move the playhead to the beginning and then select the layer in the timeline panel. To add noise, go to Effect, Noise and Grain. Select the noise you want to add from the menu. We're going to choose Turbulent Noise. To customize the effect, go to the Effects Control panel. We want to change the fractal type to Small Bumps and increase the brightness. We also want to adjust the opacity. By using keyframes to animate the opacity, we can create another animation that makes it look like the clouds are clearing over time. Take the time to experiment with different effects, as well as adjusting and animating their properties. Pay special attention to the generate and simulation effects. These allow you to add effects such as lightning bolts, snow, bubbles, etc. There are many tools and controls in After Effects that can be used to adjust or change the color in your compositions. You can use those that automatically adjust the color, but there are also those that give you the ability to make the changes yourself, so you can get the look you want. If you go to Effect, Color Correction, Levels, you'll see the tools that you need to adjust the color balance in the Effects Control panel. Go to the Channel menu and specify the channel that you want to modify. You can choose red, green, or blue. We're going to choose red and apply adjustments to our image. In the Effects Control panel, you can adjust the sliders for the color channel. Take some time to play with color balance in your composition. If you don't like a change that you made, go to Edit, Undo, or Command or Control Z. Since each composition you work on will be different, the best way to learn how to adjust the levels is to practice doing it. The more practice you get, the easier it will be to know what you need to do. The color range effect will key out a range of colors. In our composition, we're going to key out the blue sky. To do this, we're going to select the layer in the timeline panel, then go to Effect, Keying, Color Range. Next, go to Composition, Composition Settings. You'll then see the Composition Settings dialog box. Go to the background color box. We're going to use black. This is the color that will show through as we remove the colors we don't want. Click OK. Select RGB from the Color Space menu in the Effects Control panel. Go to the Key Color eyedropper. Click a color in the sky to sample it. This is the color that we want to key out. As you can see, the keyed out color is now replaced with black in the Composition panel. Remember, we selected black as our background color for the composition. Now click on the Add to Key Color eyedropper located in the Effects Control panel. Click on another area of the sky in the Composition panel. Keep doing this until the sky is keyed out. As you can see, the blue sky has been completely keyed out now, so we can add a new background. Import Lesson 5 Asset 3 and then drag it to the timeline panel. Now we can go to Effect, Color Correction, Auto Levels, or Effect, Auto Correction, Auto Color to adjust the color in the new background layer so it better matches the original layer.